Hey there, it's me, Wallaber, your friendly local Jelly game developer, here to tell you about the latest update to JellyCar Worlds, which has a brand new logo, by the way. Isn't it cute? Anyway, this is the World 8 update, which, of course, when the game first came out, there were only 6 worlds here in this World Select menu, and 2 of them said coming soon. And World 7 came out a little while ago, and now this is the final update that completes the World's adventure and adds World 8 into the game. Now, this doesn't mean that the game is done being updated. In fact, if you look over here, there's a conspicuous coming soon, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. But anyway, let's dive into what's in World 8. Like all the other worlds in the game, World 8 focuses on a brand new ability, which you're seeing right here, which is the Chili Pepper Turbo ability, which behaves a little differently than the other power-ups in the game. When you touch it, it immediately activates and sends you uncontrollably driving in the direction you were headed, and so you don't have to actually use a button to activate it or anything. And so this sort of burst of speed gives a new kind of flavor, no pun intended, to the gameplay of World 8. The other big mechanic in World 8 is these sort of squishy cheese block things. The basic idea with these is that if you push them or squish them enough, they'll actually pop. So I can show an example of that right here. Let's climb up, and we'll drop from all the way up here and pop. And so, of course, these sort of tend to work as like little blockades that you need to push and squish and pop your way through. Like that. So that's the other big new mechanic that you'll see throughout World 8. And of course, World 8 has its own overworld map and 8 brand new levels, just like every world. And of course, all those levels have additional challenges, including some new ones. I particularly like this one, which is reach the stop sign with overinflated tires. Or we have some other examples here, like one of my favorites, controlling 2 cars at once. So these are always pretty chaotic, but this level turned out to be a really great one for the 2-car challenge. And normally, at the end of a world, you would come across the next power-up you're going to use, which we don't have here because this is the last one. So there's a special ending waiting for you when you finally get to this cloud here. As well as, of course, just like every other world, if you can find all the exits and complete all the secret exits in all the levels, you can find a brand new skull level. And speaking of skull levels, if you've actually unlocked and completed all 8 skull levels, which if you have, congratulations, by the way, then you'll gain access to Skull Rush, which is a bit like a boss rush in other games, where instead of fighting all the bosses back to back, you play all the skull levels back to back, one after another. And there's a timer at the top here, which normally would reset every time you restart a level or every time you go to the next level. Doesn't reset and counts up the entire time it takes you to complete all 8 skull levels back to back. I actually like this idea of a Skull Rush so much that I actually created an entire mode based on this idea called Level Rush. Level Rush allows you to select any levels in the game and put them into a sequence and then do a rush through those levels with a timer that counts up the entire time. It doesn't stop for resets for completing all the levels in the sequence. If you come up with a level rush that you think is particularly fun, you can also just use this quick code here at the top of the screen to communicate it to other players. They can just type in that quick code and it'll reproduce the exact same rush. If you want a little variety, you can also just hit the dice here and just generate a random level rush to give you a new challenge. And if you're a speedrunner, for example, and you want to practice the any % route in the game, you can actually just type in any % as the quick code, and it will put the current any % route that the top players are using, which levels they're playing, and which exits they're going for, all in a row. If you want to practice going through the any % route, this is a great way to do that. Of course, the music of JellyCar Worlds is a huge part of the experience. Thank you so much to Matthew McCarthy for making so many great new tracks that comprise the soundtrack of the new game. And normally when you're playing through the game, each world in the game kind of has its own little mini playlist of a subset of songs that get played when you're in that world. Because customization and personalization is such a big part of the game, I've added a new feature where you can actually make your own custom playlist. So here you can choose whether you want to listen to the standard way I just described, or you can switch to your own playlist. And for the playlist, you have all the songs in the game here, and you can actually control how often those songs show up in the playlist. So you can have some songs be skipped, you can have other songs play very frequently, or some songs just play once in a while. And so based on this, you can actually override all the logic in the game for what songs to play, and it will just play this playlist kind of on shuffle for you throughout your experience of playing the game. Okay, World 8 is finally in the game now, and the story component of the game is complete. And I really hope you'll play through and actually complete World 8, because I put a little ending in there that I think turned out pretty cool, and I hope you like it. Now, I did mention that there's this strange question mark here, which means, that's right, I am not done updating the game just because I've completed all the 8 worlds. Now we're going to move on to adding some different modes and other updates to the game. And the first thing on my list, which I'm already hard at work on right now, is one of the most requested features, which is a level editor. So, I'll be back in the future when we have a new update to the game, and likely that update will include the first version of the level editor. Okay, that was a quick recap of what's new in the World 8 update to JellyCar Worlds. I hope you're enjoying playing the game, and please leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see added in the future, or any feedback you have on the game, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Boing.